A quick note before this video properly begins. As many regular viewers will already no doubt know, my channel has been demonetized by YouTube, and so this channel is now financially reliant upon you, the viewers. For those who would wish to help out and do their bit to help combat YouTube's attempts to silence and censor me, I am now both on Patreon and Subscribestar, and am asking for donations of $1 per month. But every little bit helps, and $1 per month is basically a soda pop per month to help combat YouTube's attempts to silence me. I am also, by the way, on alt tech platforms such as Odyssey, Bitchute, and Rumble, so you may want to subscribe to me there if you haven't already. For those curious, links will be left in the description below to all of this, as well as in a pinned comment. Thank you again for your time, thanks to those who have already donated, and with that said, let's get to the video itself. Hello everyone, Ace here, and today let's talk a little bit about the Batgirl movie, which was reportedly in such a state that it was in fact going through early screenings, but apparently due to poor performance was cancelled, despite also costing, according to some sources, over $100 million. Needless to say, this is very much a big deal. However, it may be the case that the long-term implications of what has happened may be more important than the film itself being cancelled. That said, it is still perfectly understandable to be curious as to how bad could this film be if Warner Brothers decided not even to put it on HBO Max. Keep in mind, this is a situation where Warner Brothers has decided that not releasing this film is the best financial decision. As in, they believe that had they released it, it would have performed so poorly that they would have lost even more money in the end. Now, there is some speculation suggesting that this may be a tax write-off. However, even then, that is still speaking very poorly about the state of the film. Like I said earlier, however, I believe that it is possible that the long-term implications of what has happened are more important than the immediate effects of the film itself just not coming out, as this appears to be part of a fundamental shift in business strategy from Warner Bros. CEO David Zaslav, who has stated that he wants to focus on quality when it comes to releasing these kinds of films. Quality as in quality of the artistic and entertainment value of those films. And this may seem like a no-brainer. However, it is worth noting that this hasn't exactly been the business strategy, at least when it comes to the current standards of Hollywood. But to understand what I'm talking about, we have to once again look into the subject of wokeness, both with how wokeness comes directly into conflict with making quality art and entertainment, as well as to some degree why major corporations have been suckered into accepting wokeness, or at least what appears to be the original reason for accepting it. With regards to the first part of this puzzle, it's important to note that wokeness prioritizes spreading ideological messages above all else, including the entertainment and artistic merits of whatever media that wokeness is inserted into. In other words, if the artistic quality and entertainment quality of a piece of media have to suffer in order for the message to be spread as clearly as possible, then changes that make the media less entertaining and less artistic are inevitable. To be clear, this is not to say that media cannot have any message of any sort. It is, however, to say that what makes good art and good entertainment is when the message is given a secondary or tertiary priority over making a good film, a good video game, or a good book. And to make a good book, a good video game, or in this case a good movie, the artistic and entertainment qualities must come first. And thus, by contrast, wokeness makes media worse. However, if wokeness does make media worse, then why have so many major corporations latched onto the idea of wokeness? And I believe the answer to this question is that because the people who try to push wokeness did actually make the case that it would increase sales. It's important to note that wokeness, as an ideological standpoint, is, if anything, an extremist interpretation of the current standards of political correctness, is the ideological positions most associated with gaining or retaining political power within society. In other words, political correctness is supposed to be the safe option, the option that will offend the fewest people, and thus the opinion that should appeal to as wide an audience as possible, in theory anyways. In practice, the actual values of political correctness can change wildly depending on when and where we are talking about, and it would currently seem that in the United States, in the current year of 2022, we are in something of an era of transition, with one set of of values of political correctness being replaced by another, with the woke extremists who champion the old values of political correctness slowly becoming less relevant, specifically because of the inevitable conclusions of their way of thinking having some very nasty outcomes. However, it is worth noting that these woke extremists have at the end of the day adopted wholesale the old school ways of political correctness, and thus in the eyes of out-of-touch corporations were seen as the opinions which could appeal to the widest audience possible, and thus maximize profits. Ironically, however, this appears to have accelerated the decline of the old values of political correctness, because now they're being forced into pretty much every media possible, so ordinary people can no longer escape these flaws. And this leads me right back quite cleanly to why I believe it is such a big deal that the CEO of Warner Brothers appears to want to focus on quality art and entertainment over spreading any particular message. Now, of course, whether or not he follows through still remains to be seen, as after all, it still appears that we are getting Ezra Miller's Flash, with no idea on how much that movie is going to be changed, if at all. Still, if it turns out that Warner Brothers does indeed follow through on their idea of focusing on quality art and entertainment, then that is itself an utter renunciation of wokeness, for as we have already previously explored, wokeness is directly the prioritization of a political message, even at the expense of artistic or entertainment quality. So to prioritize art or entertainment quality is to reject wokeness itself. With this in mind, the rejection of wokeness would make it more likely that any media projects that Warner Brothers makes would be of higher quality, specifically because again they are prioritizing quality of entertainment and art. Thus, these projects will be more likely to succeed financially speaking, and if this were to happen, then it is very possible that other companies may follow suit. And it is for this reason that I believe that the decision to cancel Batgirl may have some very long-lasting consequences that may in fact be for the better. Of course, ultimately, it still remains to be seen as to whether or not Warner Brothers can follow through. Ultimately, it is something that I will keep my ear to the ground on and inform you all of should any more news come. And of course, for those who are curious and want to know more about the current situation, I will be leaving archived links in the description below, so you can check them out if you should so desire. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.